مساء الخير، اهلا بحضراتكم لقاء جديد وجناب السفير. زي ما اعتدنا مع حضراتكم ان احنا بنتابع العلاقات بين كل دولة وبين مصر وتطورها من خلال وجود السادة السفراء في مصر. سفير جمهورية ليتوانيا كان ضيفنا من عدة سنوات وكلمنا عن العلاقات بين مصر وليتوانيا. النهارده بنستضيفه بعد تقريبا 5 سنوات من اقامته بالقاهرة، وانه هو اوشك على السفر الى دولته، وقبل ما يعني يودع كل اصدقائه المصريين الموجودين هنا كان لازم نلتقي بيه في جناب السفير، نتكلم معاه عن ليتوانيا اكتر، نتكلم معاه عن العلاقات بين مصر وليتوانيا في الاونه الاخيره والزيارات اللي تمت، الزيارات الرسميه بين البلدين في فتره وجوده في القاهره. ليتوانيا الحقيقه دوله يعني مليئه بالشواطئ الجميله، فيها حوالي 4000 بحيره، هي دوله خضراء، فيها الأماكن التاريخية والأماكن الأثرية. وسعادة السفير أيضا كان ليه بعض الزيارات الأثرية مع وزير الآثار هنا في مصر، هيكلمنا عنها. برحب بسعادة السفير أرفيدس داونورا فيتشوس، سفير جمهورية ليتوانيا بجمهورية مصر العربية. Sir, again in our program before you are going to your country.
Pleasure to be back here and أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا بك. You speak a little bit of Arabic, some words, some Arabic words.
Unfortunately, a little bit only. I would love to speak more fluently, but it's enough to communicate on the streets.
In the restaurant.
In the restaurant, the cafeteria, in the shop. So it's. I'm surviving.
What's your favorite place here in Cairo after almost 5 years?
Oh, it's so many different places in Cairo, around Cairo, and some really it's very difficult to tell, because when you start listing places, you think, oh, I should mention that, I should mention that. Of course, you should mention from the Egyptian National Museum in Tahrir. It's
you visited many cities here in Egypt. You visited a special visit to a city of Tanis.
That's correct.
Yeah?
That's correct.
Tell us about this experience in this archaeology places.
It probably was the one of the first and the most impressive memories I had when you go to quite far away from Cairo and you discover that several thousand years ago it was a very, very well-developed civilization there, with established worship houses and places to live. It's amazing. It's amazing. What we count in centuries, you count in thousands, in millenniums here in Egypt.
You find many monuments and historical places here.
Oh yes, yes. It's. I think that any place you dig, you find something, because Egypt is very, very rich in archaeological discoveries and antiquities and really the wonders of the world.
You visited Tanis with the Minister of Archaeology in Egypt here, yeah?
That's correct. It was
Egyptian Archaeology Minister.
Yes, Minister of Antiquities and Tourism.
What about historical places and archaeology in Lithuania and the cooperation in archaeological field between Lithuania and Egypt?
Well, Lithuania is also the quite old country. We have our history of statehood for more than 1,000 years. We crowned our first king almost 800 years ago. So we also have certain history, of course, which in the time span cannot be compared with Egyptian ones. But there are very interesting places in Lithuania to visit, to see. It's former capital of Lithuania, Trakai. It's a castle in the middle of the lake, on the island in the middle of a huge lake. It's Kernavė, which is even capital before.
The castle in the middle of the lake.
On the island in the middle
on
of the lake.
On the island, of course.
Yes.
يعني بيكلمنا الحقيقة عن قلعة موجودة في جزيرة وسط البحيرة عندهم هناك من الآثار الجميلة جدا في ليتوانيا يعني.
It's probably the most known historical site. It's on all advertisement like pyramids, Luxor's one in Egypt, so Trakai for us, it's everywhere. Of course, when you travel across Lithuania, so it's a sea coast, which is beautiful, with the beautiful beaches, with beautiful dunes.
You have about 4,000 lakes in Lithuania.
Yes. Yes, big, small, very big, very small, but
from all sizes.
All sizes. Pick one you like. You like, and of course we have about 100.
It gives the weather is different, and the biological diversity in Lithuania is different. I think due to all these lakes.
Due to the greenery, the water, we have enormous resources of water, fresh water. We have 4 different seasons in Lithuania, which gives the diversity. Some diversity you see during the winter.
In planets, in animals.
That's right. So you
have forests.
Almost half territory of Lithuania is covered by forest. So our eyes used to see green around, a lot of green around.
It's positive energy.
Yeah, it's positive energy, and we do believe that forest, the trees, the old trees, especially the old trees, oaks, could give you the very good energy. So it was our belief. It was a belief, our belief before Christianity.
Coming from your grandfathers and
even before that.
From the ancients.
From the ancient times, yes.
الحقيقة هم عندهم معتقد انه الاشجار القديمة بتجلب الطاقة الايجابية جاية من القدماء اللي كانوا موجودين في هذه المنطقة، وعندهم كمية خضار كبيرة جدا، عندهم بحيرات بتتعدى 4000 بحيرة من مختلف الاحجام. ده طبعا بيدي تنوع في المناخ وتنوع في الطبيعة الجميلة. وكلمني كمان عن الآثار اللي موجودة هناك والمناطق التاريخية وزيارته لمجموعة من الآثار والمدن التاريخية اللي موجودة هنا في مصر. بيقولوا الحقيقة في مصر طبعا الوضع مختلف، احنا كل ما نحفر ممكن نلاقي مومياوات وآثار طبعا أكتر بكتير من ليتوانيا. So we'll talk about your career, diplomatic career, and you're studying for physics before you are coming as diplomatic. So it's very different between studying science and studying diplomacy.
And yes and no.
Which is favorite to you?
It's very difficult question. Very difficult question to ask. If you would ask that question when I just switched from physics to diplomacy, I would say it was a very difficult decision to take. Now I think it was a very good decision, right decision. I never regret it that I switched from physics to diplomacy. I have a feeling that I could contribute more to my country, to my homeland, Lithuania, being diplomat than being a physicist.
What's about your experience in physics and working as a physicist?
I was a scientific research worker in the Academy of Science and the Institute of Semiconductors, where I worked 5 years after graduation. So we did very interesting scientific work. We published some articles. We had a very interesting direction to go, but when I switched from physics to diplomacy, I had to quit and unfortunately to forget this.
You forget everything about physics, or you still
no, it's still in the heart.
Some
it's still
special point of view.
Oh, it's still in your
With
heart.
some aspects.
It's still in your heart. You remember, you follow, you listen, you know the names, and I'm very, very happy to see my classmates, my colleagues. We started together. Now they very famous scientists working around the world, professors. So I'm very proud that many years ago, many decades ago, we started together.
الحقيقه سعاده السفير بدايته كانت لدراسه الفيزياء، فسالته اختلاف الكارير او العمل من الفيزياء للدبلوماسيه، ده كان تغير تام، لانه يعني الاشياء العلميه او العمليه او اللي بتعتمد على العلم مختلفة عن الأشياء اللي بتتعامل بيها في الدبلوماسية. فقال لي الحقيقة أنه هو عشان يخدم بلده في هذا المكان غير وجهة نظره وابتدى يفكر بالطريقة الدبلوماسية، لكن برضو طريقة التفكير العملية أو العلمية ما زالت برضو بيستخدمها في بعض الأشياء، ولما بيشوف زمايله اللي بقى علماء مشهورين بيبقى سعيد جدا بيهم، وهو طبعا عامل فترة كعالم فيزياء. So we'll talk about your diplomatic career and your stations before you're coming to Cairo. You went to Belgium, you went to USA. Tell us about this experience in these countries.
It's a different part of the world. Europe, it was very close mentally and culturally. It was very close because we are part of Europe. United States was a little bit different because it's far away and different mentality, different history. But I found a huge Lithuanian community there. Because Chicago, we sometimes joke, it's the second largest Lithuanian city, or first biggest Lithuanian city outside the borders of Lithuania. So we felt home, and community, of course, kept us busy, kept me busy 24/7, but it was very enjoyable posting, as enjoyable as my posting here in Egypt.
We go back to Lithuania and speak about Lithuania, about the cooperation between Lithuania and Egypt recently in the information technology field, because you are famous of this. You are the fastest internet in Europe.
Public
I think
internet,
so.
Yes.
And we need internet service these days more than before after coronavirus. What you're going to say?
When we talk about the cooperation between Lithuania and Egypt, we should start it started not yesterday or day before yesterday. It started, if I'm not mistaken, about 400 years ago, when our member of a noble family came to Egypt. He traveled here. He stayed here on the boat, traveling the Nile, and after coming back to Lithuania, he wrote a book. So this book became like a travel guide at that time for the noble people, because it was written in Latin, and only nobility could read it. So we consider that our cooperation started then, 400 years ago. But then we had another steps, like our officers joining the army, which was gathered by Muhammad Ali. They fought on the side of Muhammad Ali for independence of Egypt. So if you start picking up
all
small
over the
things,
centuries.
all the centuries,
it comes
you will find. Yes,
downs.
that's right. That's right. So we have a good basis, at least a historical basis. And you're right. We are relatively small country, just 3 million population to compare with Egypt. And we came to the conclusion that if we would like to be known and to survive in today's world, we should concentrate on the sectors which create the biggest value added. Of course, so it's information technologies, banking technologies, cybersecurity, and fintech. All these new things which generate value-added tax, added value without wasting the resources, because our biggest resource, it's our people. our smart, educated
human resource,
which is the biggest treasure of our country.
Is there any memorizing of understanding between Egypt and between Lithuania in this?
Yes, there are several between different ministries, like between the ministries of foreign affairs, between the ministries of agriculture. We have a so-called joint committee on economical, technological, and scientific cooperation. We're planning, unfortunately, pandemic, corona altered all our plans, but we still go maybe at the end of this year, inshallah, to organize a meeting of this committee.
You can capture corona by vaccine, we hope so.
We hope so. So, yeah, the cooperation is moving ahead. It's moving a little bit slower than I would like to see. Because of the corona, it's one reason, but it's moving ahead, and I think we have a great potential. It's our task to realize this potential which exists in cooperation between our two countries.
About the cooperation in healthcare, in education, in this human field?
I know the cooperation in education. I know a number of Egyptian students are coming to Lithuania to study, to do the bachelor degree.
Scholarships?
Mostly these are the European scholarships through the Erasmus program, Erasmus Plus program. But even some Egyptians, young Egyptians, are going without a scholarship to do the master degree in Lithuania or to do the bachelor degree in the very specific, mostly it's engineering or medicine in these fields. So because they should come to the embassy, so we know they go to Lithuania.
Of course. سعادة السفير الحقيقة بنتكلم عن التعاون بين مصر وبين ليتوانيا، فقال إنه التعاون بين ليتوانيا ومصر يعني بيرجع إلى 400 سنة تقريبا من القرون الماضية، وزيارات للنبلاء لمصر هنا وكتابتهم لكتاب عن مصر، وقاموا برحلات نيلية، والكتاب ده اتكتب باللغة اللاتينية. يمكن العلاقات كانت بتقل شوية في فترة، لكن بترجع تاني، كانت موجودة في عصر محمد علي، بتروح وتيجي، لكن العلاقات قائمة من 400 سنة. حاليا طبعا العلاقات بين مصر وليتوانيا مستمرة، لكن طبعا بسبب فيروس كورونا كل المشاريع إلى حد ما ومذكرات التفاهم فيها توقف، لأنه طبعا الظروف في كل العالم بسبب فيروس كورونا. لكن نتمنى على نهاية هذا العام أنه كل هذه المشروعات ترجع تاني إلى حيز الواقع. التعاون في مجال التعليم، في مجال الصحة، في مجال تكنولوجيا المعلومات، لأن ليتوانيا بتشتهر جدا بسرعة الإنترنت، يمكن موجود أسرع إنترنت في أوروبا. فده اللي قاله سعادة السفير، وبيتمنى العلاقات تكون أفضل إن شاء الله في الفترة القادمة. Now we talk about the amber stone in Lithuania, and it's a part of your culture and belief there. It gives positive energy, as you said to me. Talk to us about this special stone in Lithuania.
It's very simple. You take the oils of the pine tree, you keep in the sand for 50 million years, and you have a amber stone. But every piece of amber you see, it's at least 50 million years old. So it's really old. It's really old, and we call it Lithuanian gold because it was not centuries and centuries and centuries ago. It was not mined as it's now. It was only found in the sea. So you should wait for the storm, big storm, and to wash out the pieces of this amber stone out of the sea. So it was considered very precious and used for different purposes, for jewelry, for healing, for amulets. Our ancestors believe that it has special powers from the sun.
It gives a positive
power? Positive energy. Well, we do believe, that we do believe.
Do you try it before?
Well, I have a lot of things from amber myself. It's like a keychain or the business card holder with the amber. So it's part of our culture. So it's always around. The amber, you don't find a lady in Lithuania which wouldn't have the jewelry from amber. So it's part of our culture, part of our history, and part of our heritage.
الحقيقة بيكلمنا عن الكهرمان الامبر اللي هو حجر الكهرمان اللي بيستخدموه عندهم، موجود عندهم بكثرة وبيشتهروا بيه، وده جزء من ثقافتهم، سواء بالنسبة للحلي للسيدات أو سواء اعتقادهم أن هذا النوع من الأحجار اللي بيعود إلى سنوات طويلة وموجود عندهم في الأرض ده بيدي نوع من التفاؤل او نوع من الطاقه الايجابيه. فبقول له انت جربت ده فعلا؟ فقال ما فيش حد عندنا ما بيعتقدش هذا الاعتقاد في ليتوانيا. Thank you for your speech and see you always in our program when you come to Egypt.
It's always a pleasure.
Me too. في نهاية حلقتنا بنشكر سعادة السفير فيدس داونورا فيتشوس، سفير جمهورية ليتوانيا بجمهورية مصر العربية. اتكلمنا عن ليتوانيا واتكلمنا عن حجر الكهرمان اللي موجود هناك والاعتقاد بأنه هو بيجلب الطاقة الإيجابية، وده نوع من الثقافة عندهم هناك. اتكلمنا عن العلاقات بين مصر وليتوانيا في الآونة الأخيرة، وأن العلاقات موجودة منذ 400 عام، وعن إقامته في مصر، وأنه هو بيستعد الآن للعودة مرة تانية إلى ليتوانيا بعد أن كون صداقات وعاش فترة يعني هو استمتع بيها في مصر، وكان ليه زيارات لمدن أثرية ومدن سياحية كثيرة في مصر، وكلمنا عن الآثار أيضا في ليتوانيا. شكرا وإلى اللقاء، واستنونا دايما مع ثقافات وأفكار من مختلف دول العالم في جناب السفير، فإلى اللقاء.